are here just to learn more, and not necessarily in this year's cycle, but a future cycle, you've got even longer, right? So just know that we are here to help guide you through this process. The other thing I want to say just quickly before we jump into a few nuts and bolts, one thing I want to make sure you are aware of is that Baylor students win Fulbright awards. This is something where our students at every level are quite competitive and do quite well. This last year, we enjoyed our largest number of Fulbright applications ever at Baylor, when 64 students applied for a Fulbright. We had 23 of those who are currently at sort of finalist status. So the announcements have not occurred yet for most of these awards. They're coming here in the weeks ahead. So we've got a lot of Baylor students who are in prime position to win a Fulbright award this year. We had a couple that had to withdraw for one reason or another, but this is something that Baylor has a long record of Fulbright success. And so we are hopeful that this, if this is something that sounds like an interesting prospect to you, we know that you are capable of winning this. And so we are here to help guide you and help you navigate through that process. So toward that end, I'm guessing Dr. Baniewski, are you back with us here?
I'm back on the call.
All right. Then I'm gonna have you kind of jump in and start explaining some of the basics of the process, and then I'll circle back around after he does and talk with you about concrete next steps.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Hogue. Hello again. I'm Dr. Daniel Baniewski. I'm one of the FPAs at Baylor, and so, or I should say, Fulbright Program Advisor. You might not, maybe you picked up the acronym. But I would like to share with you two different things that have to do with some more specific details about the Fulbright program. And so I'm going to talk about just some kind of specific Fulbright things that Grant mentioned, but to add some sort of further clarification. And then sort of the second component I'm going to talk about is our timeline at Baylor and our Baylor deadline. So the first detail I'd like to talk about is sort of a difference between the Study Research Award and the ETA, the English Teaching Assistant Award. So the ETA we find is maybe an award that people didn't know about, or maybe a misunderstood award. Often I think people think, well, I don't want to teach in the future, so I don't want to do an ETA. That doesn't matter to me. I would like to go pursue this kind of study or something like this. But the ETA, both awards pursue that main mission of the Fulbright that Grant talked about. But the ETA does so through language and this sort of further emphasis on cultural exchange that he is talking about. And so most of our applicants that apply for the ETA are not planning to go teach down the road. They're not education majors, and even in whatever career they're pursuing, teaching is not something that they're wanting to pursue. But they want to get that Fulbright experience of going to another country and participating in this mutual understanding, this cultural exchange, sharing their U.S. culture and being receptive to the host country culture. And so I feel like that's we find that helpful to clarify that about the ETA. And just a specific example, last year we had a student out on an ETA to Germany, and this applicant's name was, or winner's name is Clay, and Clay wants to pursue this sort of foreign affairs, international studies career, and doesn't have a plan of teaching, and knew that he wanted to go to graduate school, and applied to a program at A&M and got in and got a half ride, which is great. But won the Fulbright, went out on the Fulbright, had a great experience, came back, applied for the same program, and got a full ride. And so I don't know the tuition details of his program, but that's in ballpark figures. That's probably $20,000 right there that the Fulbright experience helped him sort of attain. And as Grant was talking about, there are these lifelong kind of ripples that occur because of the Fulbright. And so we're convinced that both of these awards end up pursuing those sorts of aims. And the ETA, I think, needs some clarification. For the undergraduate students that are here with us, the Study Research Award, we often talk about and emphasize the study aspect, going to a degree granting program, if that's the aim that you want to pursue. We've had a lot of success. Baylor students have had a lot of success with the Fulbright. We've never had an undergraduate research award winner. We do have a finalist this year, but we tend to encourage undergraduates not to look into other Fulbright awards other than the research award, because you're applying against graduate students who have had just advanced type of research, and so it's a steep hill to climb. So that's something to note about the sort of difference between Study Research Award and the ETA. I am now going to share my screen because I want to talk. I know Grant showed the Fulbright website, and I know you've probably looked at it, but I just want to show a few resources here really quickly. And all right, so here is the Fulbright website. So a couple of helpful videos that I encourage you to look at are under this About section and under the videos and tutorials. So as you're at the stage where you're gathering information and you're trying to figure out, is this right for me? I think I'd like to pursue this. What can I do with the Fulbright? Under these Fulbright tutorials, there is this overview video is helpful, although you've just got that basically in the panel that we were just on. The two videos I'd really like to point out are the Study Research Award video, and then the fourth video is the ETA Award video. These just have a deep dive into both of these awards. So yeah, I wanted to point those out. Another thing to point out, Grant did a good job of showing how to try to explore what award you might be interested in. Just to emphasize that point, one way to do that would be to go to this country section and just explore the world and figure out, where do I want to go? And let's see, let's click on Malaysia. So Malaysia has 100 ETAs and 5 open study research awards. So these are the country pages that he was talking about that have all of those details of all the kind of nuances for each different award. Another real quick thing I'm going to point out is that he talked about the UK having, instead of just having one open award, they have a bunch of different awards to all of these different universities. So that's a wrinkle, just a difference for a couple countries like the UK. Let's see, another thing I wanted to point out as you're trying to discern different things, the most important thing should be, do you have the sort of passion and excitement to do the certain award to the country that you want to go to? And do you have have you done the sorts of things that make you a competitive candidate? Those are primary. A secondary consideration would be to think about statistics. So at the top right corner of any Fulbright page, you can look at the statistics for all the different awards for the last 3 years. They don't have this year's award stats up because they haven't made the selections yet. But you can see, especially for the most competitive awards like the UK awards, I'm just gonna open this up. You'll really want to pay attention to the stats. It takes a second to pull up. There we go. So you can see, for instance, the open award with, the stats are staggering and I just wouldn't even think about it. But you can see for most of these open study awards, it's about maybe a 1 in 12 or a 1 in 23. And you can see that the stats do change over the years. But this can be a helpful guidance, especially for really competitive awards like the UK and Ireland, places like this. One thing to note I talked about the differences between the study research and the ETA. The study research, the floor acceptance rate is below 1%, and the ceiling is often about 10% acceptance rate. There are differences there, but that's generally the range for the study research award. The ETA, the floor is typically about 10%. And on average, at least anecdotally speaking, there are a lot of awards that have 20 to 30% acceptance rates. And so that's really helpful to note. And I looked at Malaysia earlier. The Malaysia ETA has, this last year has about a 55% acceptance rate. So that's helpful to note. You don't want to just pick a place that you know you can win, but you don't want to go there. But that can be a helpful factor in decision making. Okay, I just threw a bunch of information at you. I'm going to shift gears here and talk a bit about our Baylor timeline. So I don't know if Dr. Hogue noted this at the beginning of our time here as I hopped out to the main meeting room, but Dr. Hogue is the Associate Dean of Engaged Learning, and I am the Director of Major Fellowships and Awards, and so we're both housed within the Office of Engaged Learning. So here's our website. It's great. There are lots of cool tools, like we have some great news stories here. This is Kyle, who is out on a Fulbright right now to Tel Aviv. He's in Israel. So this is a bit about his story. So you can check that out. We also list a bunch of other award winners here. But the thing I'm going to point you toward is under fellowships and awards, and under major fellowships and awards, we have our Fulbright grant page. So this has a bunch of information, a why Fulbright video that you guys have probably seen, and seen that I have a gigantic beard in that video. Some have called it monstrous. That's an accurate description. We also have a little bit of a longer video of some Baylor Fulbrighters talking about their experience on the Fulbright. But I'm going to scroll down to this timeline, and it's pretty similar to what Grant noted for the overall structure of the Fulbright timeline. We're beginning right now talking about the Fulbright, and you're thinking, is this right for me? Is this, what country would I want to apply to? What award would I want to apply for? And that's exactly where you should be. We are asking that you take this month and discern, and then by the 31st, let us know that you're going to throw your hat in the ring. And that just helps us know who all is applying. And so we can, as FPAs, stand beside you and offer our guidance as Fulbright program advisors. Then as the hard work of completing your application, one thing I'll also note about this is also a time to pursue opportunities that will strengthen your candidacy. And in future, you might ask, how do I do that? Well, we're going to have an upcoming workshop talking about that. And also we're always available to talk about this sort of thing with you. Another sort of point in the timeline I want to point out is August 31st. So you'll be working end of spring and through the summer on your application, and we're going to provide direct mentorship to you. We have a team of folks that's going to mentor you and give you feedback on lots and lots of drafts of your essays and different parts of the application. And then you'll complete a near final draft by the 31st of August. And this is going to help us as we, in September, complete your campus interviews so that we can complete that campus evaluation form that Grant was talking about. And we do want to sing your praises, and that helps us do that. The other thing that this helps us do is to provide you with feedback during the interview to say, hey, this is what we think is really great about your application, and this is how you can develop it even further. So you can take that information and strengthen your application even further. And then the final date to note is though the national deadline is the 12th, our deadline is October 1st. So keep that in mind. We're asking you to submit your application completely by that day. Okay, one thing I hope I guess two things I hope you're hearing from my discussion here of the Baylor timeline is that we are here to mentor you, and we have a team of folks that are going to be mentoring you throughout the process. And we've set up this structure as a way to help ensure that kind of mentoring and ensure that you're going to put forward the best application possible. We also, I hope you see, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We also hope that you see that this is an iterative process. So it's not something you're going to just roll out of bed and October 11th and try to complete. You're going to start completing this mid to late spring, and you're going to be working on it at a slower pace, but over a long period of time. And we find that just helps strengthen students' candidacies and applications. Okay, that is all that I have, and I'll pass things back on over to Dr. Hope.
All right, thank you, Dr. Baniewski. I'm going to say just one or two words. I know you have been flooded with information, and you're, trying to make heads from tails here on some of it, perhaps. So we want to be, kind of cognizant of that. But we also do a lot of things that we hope can make this a really user-friendly process to you. In just a second in the chat, Dr. Baniewski is going to place 2 links there. Again, this is a broad information session designed to sort of, provide you with information. But let us emphasize, as we both have said, we really tailor this process to you, and want this to be, want this all to kind of work for you. So for those of you who are looking toward applying in this cycle, so those would be people who currently right now are juniors or seniors or graduate students who are hoping to apply in this cycle. Dr. Baniewski is going to put a link to one form, a Google form there that will send you just fill out that Google form so that we have clear record and we can start some of that more tailored communication with you. Others of you might be a sophomore right now, or a freshman, or you might be a junior who says, I'm not going to apply next year, but I would like to apply in 2 or 3 years. If that's you, if you're someone who's looking to a different cycle a little bit later, go ahead and fill in the second Google form that Dr. Baniewski just put in the chat. And again, what that will do is ensure that we, we'll make note of that in our files, and we'll continue to stay in touch with you as you go. One other thing that I want to just chat with you about real quick, and again, this is part of the reason why we like to start this process now, is a lot of students will say, well, I'm looking to apply in this next Fulbright cycle, but I'm just, I've never even heard the word Fulbright until I got an email from this strange dude I don't know. And you think, how could I be qualified, right? Well, that's part of why we start this now, is we want to help equip you with the things that are going to make you a strong candidate between now and October the 12th. October the 12th is a long time from now, and there's a lot that you can be doing to prepare yourself. As someone who might decide to apply for an ETA, we can help you find some opportunities for English teaching that can get you the practice now that says, not just, I think I'd be a good English teacher, but I am a good English teacher, and here's how you can know that, Fulbright readers. So some of those kinds of things, we want to kind of get this process moving for you so that you're very clearly outlining that. For those of you who are, say a sophomore right now, and you're looking to apply a couple of cycles out, that I got good news for you, which is that you've got a lot of time to build a deep and strong resume, that will prepare you well for the opportunities in front of you. So that's part of why we initiate this process now, and part of why we're going to try to put you kind of on 2 different tracks here. So those that are applying in this cycle, those that are applying in a future cycle. We want to be in touch with all of you, right? But just so that we can kind of make those delineations for ourselves. That's part of why we have you fill those things out. And then I also want to mention maybe 2 other things. Also have Dr. Baniewski feel free to chime back in a moment if there's anything I've missed. For those of you who are going to be applying in the current cycle, one of the things that we're going to do, in addition to communicating with you on a regular basis about progress and so forth and process. We're also going to place you in a Canvas group that we keep. We just use Canvas as a good kind of platform because it's something we're all using and we all know how to use. On our Fulbright Canvas page, we've got a whole lot of resources for you. Again, we acknowledge that you are overrun right now with resources, with information. But what we try to do on this Canvas page is, number one, we try to provide for you in writing some of the things that we've been talking about here today. Number two, the thing that often is really helpful to a lot of students is we seek permission from really strong applicants as we go. People who have won or were finalists in years past. We seek permission from them to, redact their identifying information, but make their applications available to you, to future Baylor applicants. And I think it can be really helpful for you to look and read start to finish. This is what a winning Fulbright application looked like. And we try to include enough variety there so that if you are, if you're someone who's in the sciences applying for a study award, we've got a couple of those. If you're someone who wants to apply to an ETA to Latin America or to East Asia, we've got a couple of those. And so you can sort of see some good variety. Not, of course, so that you can copy those applications, right? That wouldn't work. It wouldn't fly. And you'll see that. I mean, Fulbright applications are authentically you. They are personal, highly contextual. But what you will be able to see is just a glimpse of what a winning application looks like. What are the elements there? And that, I think, can help sort of demystify the process for a lot of people to see, oh, this is, some identifying information and some transcripts and some letters, but it's also just a couple of short essays. And so we want to kind of make some of that available to you so that we can, again, begin this conversation, this highly tailored conversation to you. You'll find as we go, as you ask us questions about Fulbright, I'll almost guarantee you our first answer to your question is probably going to be, it depends. And that's because that's just the nature of the Fulbright. Every single Fulbright award is different. And we're here to help guide you to find the answers if you can't find them. Also, to realize we've got some experience with this and we've worked with past applicants and can sort of navigate some of the system or have access to the people who can provide us with that information over on the Fulbright side. So that's a little bit about that Canvas resource. The other thing I want to encourage you to do is follow our Instagram. We have an Instagram account. It's just at Baylor Engaged Learning. Baylor Engaged Learning, and we'll kind of use that to feature some Fulbright people, so you can again get a sense of what their life is like while they're out on a Fulbright. We'll use it for some announcements, to remind you about some things like Dr. Baniewski is holding Fulbright office hours on Monday. Drop in. Just some things that'll kind of keep a line of communication open to you. While you're doing social media things, and not just have it all on email and that kind of thing. So we'll use that from time to time. We'll always use other mediums as well if you're not a regular Instagrammer, but it will be another medium where we can communicate a few things to you that I think might be helpful to you. And that, again, that goes for all of you, whatever stage in the process you're at. Finally, a quick word just to the graduate students who are in the room with us. The graduate process looks a little bit different in some ways. You might be applying for the same study research awards as some of the undergraduates, but the way your proposal will look is also something that's going to be a little bit different. And so I just want to make mention of that. Again, talk with us because we want to tailor the process to each individual person in the room. There's a lot more for us to say, a lot more we could say, but we're gonna, as Dr. Baniewski mentioned, we're gonna kind of, it's sort of, I like to use the metaphor of a funnel. When you're starting with Fulbright here, we're at the wide part of the funnel. There's just so much to learn, but we're gonna continue to try to narrow this funnel here over the course of the next few weeks with, some kind of tailored conversations, specific to study research, specific to ETA. We invite you to come to both of those if you don't know what you're interested in. But if you do know what you're interested in, you can kind of focus in on, yes, I know ETA, and so I'll just come to ETA. And we'll begin to, again, just narrow that process until we have you at some point soon talking about, hey, I know that I am applying for the ETA to Malaysia, and so let's talk about the ETA to Malaysia. And so we're going to try to get you there, as long as it takes, right? But as soon as you can, so that you can really begin in earnest the process of working on these really highly iterative applications. A lot of times students will look and say, oh, a 1-page essay and a 2-page essay, that'll take me, I do that all the time. That'll take me, an hour or two. Well, we're here to tell you that's just not the case. Because the amount of work it takes to get all the wonderful things you could say down into a space that small is really hard work. I say all the time, if they gave you 5 pages, this would be an easy application. But they give you 1 or 2 pages. So it's a hard application for that reason. So I'm going to hand it back over to Dr. Baniewski if there are any gaps. I was trying to man the chat while he was talking. He was doing the same for me while I was talking. So, trying to listen with one ear and listen to the chat with the other. So Dr. Baniewski, any other things you want to add by way of departure here?
Yeah, one really quick thing. So these different things that Dr. Hogue noted that we're going to be different ways that in workshops that we're going to be holding. You probably saw this. I'm going to share my screen again. You probably saw this on the Fulbright grant page that I noted, but we do already have a list of some different dates of different things that we're going to be, different information sessions. And so, and then I'm also holding these office hours just as an avenue for you to come and ask any kind of question that you would like to ask. That seems like the easiest avenue to pursue that sort of thing. But we're also going to reach out to you via social media, email, and things like that. But I just wanted to point this out as if you wanted to look at a schedule right now, that's where some things are at. But yeah, that's all that I have. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and again, on that March 31 deadline, we just, for those of you who are interested in the conversation and say, I want to keep moving forward, that's where we're sort of asking that declaration that, yes, I'm in this cycle and moving forward. So, that's kind of what we're looking for then. There are a lot of nuances still to figure out after that, right? So don't feel like, oh no, that's my only window. I have to have decided it all, right? We just want to know that you're continuing with the conversation and narrowing in toward the specific award, so that again we can. There's a good bit more process related stuff for us to talk about, but that's for subsequent conversations in the days ahead. If there are questions that come up, as Dr. Baniewski mentioned, those Zoom office hours are going to be a great way for you just to pop in, ask a quick question. We try to respond to email as fast as we can, but we also have a high volume of that. So just know that we are here, we are accessible. We are your guides through the process. We're going to call in reinforcements as we go. If you're looking at this and saying, oh my goodness, how responsive are 2 people going to be to all these people? We have other people, other faculty, some graduate students as well that kind of help kind of support this process. So the goal is for it to be as responsive as it can be, so that in August of 2022, we're shipping a whole bunch of you people off to do all kinds of great things all over the world, wearing your green and gold, wearing your Fulbright blue as ambassadors of the United States through the Fulbright program. It is a wonderful, wonderful program. I cannot speak highly enough about the experiences that our Baylor students have had through the Fulbright program. Just gateways to all the many wonderful things that they want to do out there in the world. It's a once in a lifetime chance to get to go to represent the United States, to live an incredible adventure So we are excited to journey with you in that. The very final thing I'll say, and you can laugh when I say that because I often don't mean it, but the very final thing I'll say right now is go ahead also and just poke around our website in general. There's a lot of other stuff there that you might not have knowledge of. Fulbright is not the only postgraduate award you can apply for. In fact, also for some of you who might be sophomores, there are other awards you can apply for during your Baylor years. So do some poking around on that website. We actually have a searchable database there. It's sort of awards Google on our webpage that you can tailor your search to your specific year, your specific interests. Do that. Play around on there, find some other opportunities. Our office supports all sorts of different bids for all sorts of different things. Gniewski's pulling it up there. So yeah, you can see what that looks like. And there are dozens and dozens and dozens of them there. And you can use the filters to find the ones that might be right for you. So we invite you to do that. So we've given you a lot of homework here. And I think I saw the thing pop up. They're going to kick us out in just a moment. So thanks for joining us today. We are excited to continue this journey with you and look forward to all the next steps with you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, and I look forward to meeting you all.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.